Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. 3 shot, 2 fatally in Trench Town. The Kingston Western Police are probing the fatal shooting of 2 men and the wounding of another in a section of Trench Town on Saturday. Dead are 48-year-old Carver Thomas and 27-year-old Diego Edwards, both of Kingston 12 addresses. Reports are that shortly after 5 p.m., gunmen went to 9th Street in the area and opened gunfire on a group of men before escaping. When the shooting subsided, Thomas, Edwards, and another man were found, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. They were assisted to hospital, where Thomas and Edwards were pronounced dead. The other man, said to be a taxi operator, was treated for his injuries. A motive for the double murder and shooting is yet to be ascertained. Teen among 2 killed at bar in Lilliput. A teenage boy is among 2 people killed in one incident in Lilliput, St. James on Saturday night. Rashid Stewart, 17 of New England, and 34-year-old Leroy Service of Bobman Hill, both in Lilliput, St. James, were shot dead around 8:45 p.m. The police say Stewart and Service were among several patrons at a bar at Bobman Hill when men armed with guns opened fire, hitting them. The shooters escaped in the area on foot. The police were summoned, and upon their arrival, the 2 victims were rushed to hospital where they were pronounced dead. Police Commissioner says illegal firearm business will be cracked soon. And assurance has come that the Island Security Force will make a large dent in the illegal firearms business, which is being fingered as the main cause of the wanton bloodletting locally. The declaration was made by Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson, who also pushed back against the long-standing suggestion that poverty has led unattached or ghetto youths to be involved in crime. He gave his view during the recent launch at the Joint Anti-Gang Task Force, a team that involves the police and the military joining forces more strategically in a bid to rid the country of guns, gunmen, and gang. Anderson said the security forces are determined to, among other things, nab those responsible for gun violence locally, which he said will ultimately result in Jamaica being safe. We are going to take back these guns that are out there. We're going to put a large dent in this firearm business in Jamaica, he declared. 91% of our murders this year have been done by an illegal firearm, and we are determined that we will recover these or seize them, or also, more importantly, apprehend the persons who are doing this, the commissioner warned. He noted, too, that oftentimes persons do not see the full result of those involved in illegal gun business, which is seen by the security forces. These are people who kill persons for money. They will kill your families, and they will kill their own families. Again, I want to say, and I keep saying it, this is not about unattached youths. This is not about poor ghetto youths. This is about people who have made choices in life to pursue a life of crime and violence and murder, declared Anderson. With the newly formed task force and other anti-crime initiatives, the top law enforcer said this is part of an ongoing transformation and modernization of the security forces to respond to violence which has plagued the country for 2 decades. We are determined that we are not going into a 3rd decade with it as it is, and as part of that, we would require public support and public confidence, stated Anderson. Man charged with housebreaking and larceny at cousin's house. A Clarendon man has been charged with housebreaking and larceny in relation to an incident at his cousin's house last week. The police say arrangements are being made for the 28-year-old Oden Wright, otherwise called Oscar, to attend court. Wright is a counter clerk at First Street in Racetrack, Clarendon. It is reported that on Sunday, January 23, 2022, about 9 a.m., Wright and another man allegedly entered a house owned by Wright's cousin and stole 5-burner stove that valued $34,998 and a dresser valued at $40,000. Wright was later picked up and charged. Mackenzie promises improved drainage system for Runaway Bay. Local Government Minister Dr. Desmond Mackenzie has promised that steps will be taken to improve the drainage system along the Runaway Bay main road in St. Anne to prevent further flooding. Last week, the minister toured sections of Portland, St. Mary and St. Anne that were affected by recent heavy rains. Runaway Bay Square was inundated for several hours following the rainfall. Mackenzie said clogging of the waterways with garbage contributed to the flooding and has urged residents to take greater responsibility to protect the environment. When I look in some of the gullies and drains, we are seeing where people dump old refrigerator and old cars, Mackenzie stated. Senior Director for Project Implementation at the National Works Agency, Varden Downer, said the agency will be expanding the drains at Runaway Bay Square to better accommodate the volume of water during heavy downpours. We are going to look and see how much we can open these drains to allow the floodwaters to drain away, he stated. 14.8% COVID positivity rate, 168 new cases, one more death. Amid Jamaica recording 168 new COVID-19 cases over 24 hours up to Saturday afternoon, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has reported a positivity rate of 14.8% for the one-day period. One COVID-19 death was recorded on Saturday, bringing the overall coronavirus death toll in Jamaica to 2,739. An 89-year-old male from Manchester is latest recorded COVID fatality. The separate death of a COVID-19 patient is under investigation by health authorities. There were 319 recoveries on the day, bringing that tally to 73,268. The newly confirmed COVID-19 cases brought the total number on record for the island to 127,054. Notably, the 14.8% positivity rate was based on the samples tested on Saturday. Of the newly confirmed cases, 93 are females and 75 are males, with ages ranging from 50 days to 101 years. The case count was made up in Kingston and St. Andrew 32, St. Catherine 29, St. James 17, Trelawney 14, Clarendon 13, Westmoreland 13, St. Mary 10, St. Thomas 10, St. Elizabeth 9, Manchester 7, Portland 7, Hanover 5, and St. Anne 2. There are 64 moderately ill patients, 42 severely ill patients, and 11 critical ill patients among 2,060 active cases now under observation in Jamaica. A total of 328 patients are now hospitalized locally. Current food labeling standards not serving greater good, says Tufton. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton is calling on stakeholders to follow the science and work together to find a solution to the food labeling issue that is currently being discussed, which he believes must be the greater good of Jamaicans. Speaking at the recent launch of Heart Month at the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, HFJ, Tufton assures that he will continue to lobby for what he considers healthier lifestyles among Jamaicans to prevent the health system from being overwhelmed with non-communicable disease (NCD). He stated that with proper labeling, customers will be able to discern healthier food and make better choices, citing that the current food package labeling makes it too hard for ordinary Jamaicans to read and understand what they are consuming. When we go into a location to purchase something, we must know what we are purchasing. We are paying money for it, we are providing value, and if the truth is to be told, because of how many products are labeled now in terms of product content, we have to have a PhD thesis to understand the breakout of that content, said Tufton. I believe in a society where we must challenge each other's thought process, and out of that will come the best possible outcome in the interest of the greater good, and that concept of the greater good is important because labeling currently may serve the interest of some, but I will say does not serve the interest of the greater good. If it doesn't serve the interest of the greater good, then we have a problem, just as the fundamental basis of how the society should be structured and managed, and from the government's perspective, from my perspective in public health, I have an obligation to rise, to highlight, and to campaign change, and in that respect, lobbying for that change is also one of the roles that I have to see myself as playing, and lobbying with those who are like-minded to think in fair game. There is no offense in that, he continued. The HFG has been at odds with a number of stakeholders in the labeling discussions. The HFG is seeking to have specific front-on package labeling, with food manufacturers and distributors objecting and opposing the proposal. According to Tufton, the HFGs and his philosophy are aligned as he believes the entity has campaigned public health causes and good public health practices, which he claims has earned the ear of stakeholders within the food industry. He stated the current standard has been set over a long period and is deficient and in outlining clear and concise crucial ingredients such as salt, sugar, and fat content for consumers, which the world is now adjusting. This is not a Jamaica thing, it is a global movement in recognition of healthy living and healthy lifestyle and the consequences. And so, we have to continue, I believe, to campaign that cause and commend the Heart Foundation for the work that they have been doing, said Tufton. One of the reasons why I support the Heart Foundation and its trust is that it is always driven by science. That's very important because sometimes we allow emotions to get in the way of the facts. Research, I am talking about research that is properly done because we can research to prove any point. When it comes to cardiovascular issue, there are some facts that are undisputed, and even though there are alternative views, the fact is, when you stick out the science, the facts cannot be challenged. There is no room for alternative facts. There is no such thing. The reality of 30% of Jamaicans dying from cardiovascular disease is not a debatable statistics. It is a reality. So is the reality of over 70% of Jamaicans dying from non-communicable diseases. It is a reality that we must accept. The reality of causes of these diseases and ailments are not debatable because the science supports it. The excess consumption of sugar and salt and all the stuff. The reality of lifestyle changes around making more informed decisions, achieving healthier lifestyle, again is a reality. It's grounded in research that has been done over many years, he said. He stated that the reality of Jamaican situation is that the hospitals are facing an increased issue of overcrowding because of NCDs, and this could be alleviated with the society being organized and oriented in better lifestyle practices. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.